Okay, welcome back to Generation Studios. My name is Pierre Benamy, and this is the part 2 of the last video I made talking about digital human characters, fully customizable 3D actors, and fully customizable and controllable 3D environments like Unreal Engine 4. And I'm not really getting too far into the specifics of these programs and what they do and how they work. I'm really just talking about their strategic advantage for the indie filmmaker that they haven't had before, and why live action films should be kind of put off until later when you have bigger budgets, you have a bigger name, you have a bigger audience, you know. And for right now, when you're trying to get your foot in the door and you're trying to experiment, and you're really not sure what your creative niche is and how you like to shoot, this is the perfect opportunity. And plus, you know, it will save you so much money and increase a quality overall. There's more benefits that outweigh the cost. So last time was more about, you know, what I just mentioned, digital humans and stuff like that. What I want to throw in is animation. So animation is, facial animation, or they call motion capture, is what you want to use. There's animation presets, which are just like a library of generic facial expressions. I'm not sure if there's a library of facial ones, but there's a library of body ones, like Mixamo is basically a library of body movements, from just when you're standing, idling, to shooting and crouching, or sword fighting, or kicking, or dancing. There's a whole library of Mixamo content that's just generic and it's not polished. And then for the body. Now, with animation and motion capture, you can use a library like Mixamo to get body stuff, but it won't come across as very human-like. So if you're making digital human actors and characters, you want to balance that realism with realistic movement. So you probably most likely want to get motion capture, and there's a lot of different resources for that. So motion capture comes in these 3 parts basically, which is head and face movements, facial motion capture, hands and arm movements because of the finger bones, and body motion capture. So your facial motion capture, there's a wide range of things, but I'm only going to mention the ones that I looked into that I find to be the best choice in terms of cost and production quality. So there's the one I'm focusing on is basically you using an iPhone X, an iPhone 10 or above, to capture the movements of the face and the head. And there are different programs that will be like there's different programs that will capture those movements. For iClone, I think it's called, it's not Motion Builder, it's Motion Builder is one of them, but it's called Motion something. I'm sorry, I didn't look anything up right now because I'm not really getting into the specifics of things. But iClone 7 has a plugin to record the face through an iPhone. And you know, iPhone 10 last time I checked is about $1,000, unless you buy it on credit, or if you buy one refurbished, or you buy one off eBay or something. But it has a special camera in it called a depth camera, and it records the facial expressions, and it has it's gyroscopic. So when you have it, when the phone is head mounted in front of your face and you move your head, it will move the animated character's head as well, and it will record your speech and the facial movements, and it will sync it to audio. So iClone 7 has a version of this. There are other ones too, but I'm basically looking at iClone 7 because I like the way they integrated all of these parts together. There's, for your fingers, it's called, it costs about $100, and it's called Leap Motion, L-E-A-P, and it records your hand and arm movements, and that's all it does. So it controls the fingers, the finger bones of the animated character. And you have to synchronize that with the body movements. To record body movements, there's a whole list of cheap and more expensive options, from the very expensive that are like, thousands of dollars, to the very cheap, which is like $20 or $30 a month, which is, I think it's called Radical. But basically you get what you pay for. But those are the three aspects. You need facial motion capture, finger and arm motion capture, and you need the body motion capture to make a realistic, high quality animated film production. So in the last video, I mentioned the photo scans, the digital humans that can create realistic actors. But to give those actors realistic movements, you need facial motion capture, body motion capture, finger motion capture. And some of these programs, it will replace stuntmen in a way. There's, I can't say the name, like cardiovascular or something like that. I'm sorry, I didn't put all this in front of me before I did it, which is a mistake. And I might have to do another video in the future now to showcase all of this. But there's one that you can basically, it lets you do combat moves basically. That makes it look more realistic by controlling the skeleton of the actors, of the 3D actors directly. You can make them do martial arts, you can make them fight, there's a very amazing video about it. If I can find the links to a lot of these things, I'll put them into the description below. So you can overcome, action scenes that you would have to have professionals in real life to do it, or you're going to end up with a really crappy indie looking action scene. You can overcome that with 3D films. So you have your 3D films, you have your digital human customized characters with customized clothing through animated, what's it called? It's called Character Creator 3 offered by Real Illusion. And then you have your 3D customized environments, which could be imported into Unreal Engine 4. And then to control the characters in those environments, you need facial motion capture, body motion capture, finger motion capture. And then you can create scenes of characters interacting with each other and interacting with their environment. Those are the basics what you need to make a 3D film. And as the software gets more advanced, it becomes easier and easier to make these scenes happen in a realistic way. And if you take a scene of a 3D character that you created, you have the motion capture ability to control the character. You can match their lines with their facial expressions and their body movements. You can create a scene. You can add music to that. You can add traditional editing techniques to that. And slowly, scene by scene, you will make a film. And this is a very simplistic way of explaining everything, but I just want you to know that all these pieces are there and created already. And some of it I'll put in links. I didn't really put too much planning in this, so I apologize. But a lot of these scenes are easy to create. And you can create them in any type of weather condition. You can create them in any type of location because all these things are digital, and chances are you can find something pre-made on the internet already. There's a website called CG Trader, and there's many websites like this where you can go on there and you can download Some are free, some cost money, but you can download and import bedrooms or living rooms or cars or machines or robots or weapons or complete characters. You know, you can download all this stuff, some of it already, and some of them you just you pay for the license to use them, or you can modify them to look different for your specific work. But there's just so much room for you to control everything, and it's so cost effective that it's something that, you know, and when I look at it, compare it to live action stuff, you know, there's just no comparison. You know, I can make a really low level indie film and pat myself on the back for all the work me and my friends from high school did together, or I can make a professional quality entire series, you know, that can run a year or 2 years, build up an audience, you know, build up a following, and then take it to the next level and to the next level and to the next level, you know, where you can get advertisers involved or sponsors involved, you know, and you can actually try to actually make money from your work. That's my approach to Christian and conservative filmmaking, because you basically have to, in those two genres, but you basically have to start from scratch to redefine the genre, to actually show that there's an actually interesting and exciting way to portray your ideas on film. You know, and so it's perfect for someone that's basically just entering the creative industry, I should say, and you want to, but you don't want to enter it with low quality stuff. You want to enter high quality stuff. And so with the animation, like I said, you need the face, you need the body, you need the fingers. And for the body, there's different motion capture suits that you can wear. Some of them magnetic, inertial, optical. There's lots of different ones. There's a lot of cheap ones, like I said, and there's a lot of expensive ones. You know, you have to do your research on that, because as you search, you're going to find a lot of different things that you didn't know about previously. But I will put some of those links in the bottom below. And next thing that you'll need is voice actors, which is you can create a team to record the voice, because anyone can record the voice. You just have to sync it with the motion capture of the face. Or you can pay professionals on Upwork or Fiverr to do that once you have a script written. There's so much you can do that you can have control over that costs a very limited amount of money. So I'll say, you know, it's hard to put a price tag on how much all this will cost. Yeah, sorry about the weird cut there, but yeah, so basically I just want to offer this information to let you know that all the pieces to the puzzle are there. You know, there's a lot of companies competing against themselves right now to offer a high quality, state-of-the-art programs for you to use and other professionals to use. And a lot of it is geared at new creators. A lot of it is not geared to the higher echelons of production studios that have thousands or $10,000 or tens of thousands of dollars in budget to use. It's geared to people that work every day. They just have a job. Maybe they have some ideas, but they never really thought they can use it for anything. It's made for students. It's made for a lot of just like low-level guys like you and I to just make high-quality pieces of art. And I recommend starting with a small concept and creating a long series out of it, so that, like for example, I was on an internship once, and the director told me, basically, like you as an artist, or basically, to paraphrase, as an artist, you have so many ideas, and your ideas, you can rank them from A to D in your own mind. So he said, his mistake, what he wished he knew starting out was, he wished he started out with his D and C level ideas and worked his way up to A. Because if he did that, he would have learned more in the process, saved more money, and saved more time, slowly getting to what he feels was the best art he can produce. So I have stories that I've written in, I had concept stories that I've written in university that I did nothing with. And when I went back to that file recently, I rated them in my mind, which ones are the best and easiest for me to perform, but are still interesting, and which ones are more difficult. So what my plan is for 2020 is to take the series, or take the concepts that I like that are more simple, and I'll make them into web series, and I produce them over time. If I can, depending on how good I get with the animation programs, episode a week that's maybe like 7 to 15 minutes long, maybe 10 minutes, somewhere around there. And I produce these episodes every week or so, however I plan to do in the future. But I want to build a following. And then when I feel like that series has met its intended purpose, I go from level D to level C. And I'll make a new series. And I'll slowly get up to the stories that I feel are the most awesome and just most epic. And I'll work my way up there at the same time, collaborating with other people, because I need a product to show other artists and other businesses, why they should work with me and collaborate with me. I need to show them my style, how much money I spend, what my budget is like, and where I'm going. And I need an actual product to say, here, look at this, because people respond to visual items more than just what my ideas are. So it helps me to make kind of like a portfolio. It helps me to get my feet wet into production. It helps me build a following. It helps me save money. 3D filmmaking at this point in time is just the answer. It has so much more over live action film that it's just not comparable. So those are my immediate ideas about this right now. I don't want to rant too much about this, and I haven't really provided you with a lot of examples. So I don't know if I'm really getting through and if you're really following me. So I just want to leave it there and let you know that, that there's a saying, and I can't remember it, but basically, there's a pattern to follow. There's a science to it. It's not a mystery anymore. We can afford software now to make the digital humans. And software is maybe 300 something, I think, and it's like a month free or something. So a month free trial. So again, I don't make any money from talking about these programs, but I just want to let you know that so many cost-effective items are available. That appears to me to be the most strategic way forward, for Christian and conservative creators like myself, and then just creators in general. So there'll be more about 3D filmmaking in the future. That's my niche. That's the niche that I want to focus on. So, I want to talk more about it. I want to have more examples to show. But I guess this is just a very long summary of some of my business plans for 2020. So again, this is Pierre Benny at Generation Studios. Thank you for showing up. And stay tuned. And I want you to know that this is a place where artists can collaborate and work together, and there's so much more that we can do. And we need to use free speech to our advantage. We need to use our freedom of expression to our advantage. And I think one of the best tools we have right now going into 2020 is 3D animated films. So yep, that's my rant. So thank you for showing up, and take care. Have a Merry Christmas. Have a Happy New Year.